Okay, let me start a party so I can make sure that my audio is going through. Sorry, I'm waiting for it to show up. So I adjusted my audio, so you shouldn't get as much backfeed or surrounding noise from outside sources. I've completely taken that away. Uh, if you do, it'll be very little. I've also, one sec. I've also adjusted audio and optimized it to where my voice goes over the game, because when the Twitch app on Xbox fails, the easiest fix is to uninstall and then reinstall. Just because it doesn't get as much attention as the actual Mixer app on Xbox, because that's the streaming platform they would prefer, and they do update Twitch and stuff like that, but sometimes it doesn't get the attention it deserves, so things go under radar. So basically, one of the easiest fixes is to uninstall and reinstall, but sometimes when you do that, all your custom settings fuck up. So basically, all my custom settings had fucked themselves. Audio all, and let me check my audio, see how well that sounds right now. Oh, that's why. Oh. Okay. It's beautiful. Beautiful, and I love it. So basically, another thing that I was having a problem with, this will be uploaded. I upload my streams in order based on what game I'm playing. So, for instance, if I'm like playing other games in between my playthroughs of that, I'll upload all the playthrough. So that sometimes confuses people, but I'm letting you know if I've made it clear on multiple videos, but I'm also making it clear on this. Another thing is I'm looking to play this with my buddy Sean. Hopefully this will get him off of sucking Metal Gear's cock. Right, Sean? Because I saw him playing it this morning, so I think he's finally interested. Also, I have the opportunity to get all the achievements again, which keeps me more compelled in the game, so that's good. But basically, if you have been watching my channel, you'll know that two games have fucked me. Borderlands 1 and Uno. And Uno won't let me stream it because of some policy bullcrap, unless I have a a capture device, which I don't have a powerful enough PC to run one of those. And yes, I'm still trying to get over this cough, and I apologize. And then Borderlands 1 was the other one, and I was wanting to go through all the Borderlands because I know Borderlands 3 is about to come out, and maybe I can convince Sean to play through those with me. But anyway, also at the end of Sekiro, I noticed my audio was messed up, so there were like about 3 or 4 streams actually, where the game audio was higher than mine, but most of the time, unless it was in a boss fight, it wasn't a big deterrent. And whenever I'm tryharding, I normally don't talk, which kind of evens it out. But in the final boss, it was really bad. Also, Sekiro needed a bunch of updates because there were a lot of like sections where the game would like slow down so much and lag so much that like what you were seeing when it was cutting out and getting really pixelated in the stream is because that's how bad it was lagging. It was trying to compensate, and on my end it was fucking miserable, making my gameplay at certain times just that much harder. But I did end up beating the boss of that, and I've gotten all those streams exported. They're being exported right now to YouTube from my Twitch. And now I'm gonna start playing this, and then eventually see if Sean will join me whenever he gets on and stuff like that. But that's a recap. My audio and stuff should be fixed, and I apologize for that. But I ended up beating every single boss. The only thing I didn't do in Sekiro was the only thing I didn't do in Sekiro was I didn't end up killing 2 of the like mini bosses, which they were archetypes of things I've already killed. Like it was the second version of the drunkard, and then another one-armed ninja guy.
Have I got a story
And I'm
for
I'm
you?
kind of playing New Game Plus to go through that ending, but right now I'm at a point where like I kind of burned out on Sekiro just because of how difficult the game was, and I've got a bunch of new games now, and I'm about to start my job, so I'm kind of just changing stuff up. I'm about to also finish my school semester, so I've got 2 book reviews coming up, and then finals, and I should be good to go.
But do not be fooled by what Pandora appears to be.
And I start work Sunday, but my work schedule should not affect my stream schedule. This job is perfect, optimized, and I'll be assistant manager.
Even with his dying breath. Advanced
But I'm a part-time assistant manager.
Infinite wealth, fame, power, women. So you can understand why some little kiddos who hear the stories grow up to become vault hunters. Well, I have a story you may not believe, but I tell you it is true. The legend of the vault is real, and it is here on Pandora. And let's call it a guardian angel, appeared to guide the vault hunters to their prize.
I've also seen the trailers, and I've talked about it in previous streams about Borderlands 3.
The guardian angel.
I watched all of that. I did a bunch of research on that. I'm definitely getting that game when it comes out, and it's coming out this year. I think around September. Okay, so that song's copyrighted, so when you go to stream this game, it blocks it. But I don't think it'll do that anymore. But which sucks, because that's a really good moment.
Moonlighting is a dominatrix, man. And you, soldier man. Are those armor pieces from the Crimson Lance you're wearing? And what's your story, young lady? What can you do? Perhaps you can bake us all a wonderful cake. And you, beef stick in the back. I'm not gonna make fun of you. Your burps smell of blood, and you growl like a rabid animal. Anyway, I've got some advice for all of you. It's tough out there, and you won't be able to just beat up on whatever you please until you're ready. Sure, you can take from the bandits or find things in the wild, but equipment you buy from my stores are guaranteed. And if you die, you can't get your money back because you're dead. I kid. No need to be so
Roland was my
serious
favorite
here.
character.
And if
I
you're
would always
looking
play as
for
Roland,
more,
and my brother would either play as Brick or
you're going to
Mordecai.
have your work cut out for you.
And then when
So
Borderlands
don't be
2
afraid
came
to
out, we
spend what it
revisited
takes
Borderlands 1, and then
to get the
he
equipment
became
you
more
need.
affiliated with Brick
You
and
listen
Lilith.
to Marcos. I
Um,
come from 7 generations of merchants, and I'm the best.
I'm
Want to know why? 'Cause
probably
I'm
gonna
making it out
play
here in this
as
place.
Roland. Yeah, I'm gonna play as Roland.
Don't be
Roland was my
alarmed.
favorite character,
I
and then when
need
he
you
died
to
Borderlands
stay
2, I
calm
was
and don't let on that anyone is talking to you.
super pissed.
Start making your way off the bus. You don't have any reason to trust me, but I need you to believe that I'm here to guide you. I'm here to help you
The
find your
visuals for her have
In a
changed
moment,
completely. She's more
you'll be greeted by a
pixelated.
funny little
Because
robot.
in the top left,
Do
she was
everything he
like
says.
a blued
Know
out
that he
live
happens.
version of that person.
I'll contact
So this
you
is a
once.
more interesting aspect. Also, I do believe cosmetics in this game and the visuals have been changed. The visuals have gotten better, and the cosmetics are
Well, we're here. Don't worry about saying goodbye.
like I think you can get like
I'm
heads
sure
and
we'll
shit
be
and more
doing this
customization
all
options.
again soon enough.
And it also comes with all the DLCs. And as you know, I've beaten every DLC for every Borderlands except for the Athena DLC in this. I got like partly through it, and that was kind of like where I lost my interest. I don't know if I was streaming it. I don't think I was. I might have been. It's been a while. Like, I think the last time I played Borderlands 1, I was a Dodge.
See you next time.
Gotta admit, this game looks a bit better.
I am CL4PTD.
But the grays
You
and
may call me
colorless
by my locally designated name,
wasteland
Flat Trap.
stuff is still there.
Before continuing, please accept this Echo communication device and heads-up display, provided free of charge by the
But basically, when I found out this was coming out and I found out it was modernized, I felt like they would make it to where we could actually stream the game, because the old one, it won't let you for some reason, unless you have a capture device. But no, I'm looking forward to Borderlands 3.
I
It
detect that your
looks
Echo device
as
is fully
if
functioning. This
Lilith
way,
might
please.
lose her siren powers, and it looks like the two main bad guys are siblings. They may or may not be sirens, or at least one of them is guaranteed to be. But the brother aspect, he's got tattoos kind of like a siren, so it's interesting. Also, I have a theory whenever I played Borderlands that Tannis was a siren as well, which would max out the number of sirens, because I think they said that only 7 can exist at one time. And we know of Lilith, we know of Angel, we know of whatever her name is in the second game, and there's a possibility Tannis is just because of her strange tattoos. But also that could have been military, like Sean and a few of them said. I don't know. I felt like Tannis was a siren. I don't know why. When I was a kid, I always did. And all that. So if that's the case, it looks like they've maxed out the sirens, and Borderlands 3 might actually. There's a possibility it could be the end or a brand new beginning, the way they've portrayed it. Interesting. Kill off any characters, especially because they're just now bringing Tiny Tina as an adult, which changes up her role a bit. It looks like her, Brick, and Mordecai are kind of like a team trio, which is interesting because if you played the Tales of the Borderlands series, you realize that Mordecai and Brick kind of do their own thing together, and Lilith stays back with Roland. And Lilith stayed back to protect everything. That was actually after Roland's death and after the events of Borderlands 2. And apparently, Scooter is confirmed dead. Everything in the Tales of the Borderlands is considered canonical. And I do believe 2 or 3 characters from the Tales of the Borderlands are going to make a return. But I wonder what ending they're going to follow up to, like what ending is going to be deemed the one where they actually get along, or the one where they still hate each other, stuff like that. Because I didn't think I saw the girl from the Tales, but I saw the main guy from Tales. But no, this takes me back. This was actually one of the first co-op games I ever played besides Crackdown. And Halo. And Gears of War. This was among the top 4 for me.
This is the new U station. When you use this device, your DNA profile is automatically identified.
It was actually one of the first Xbox games I ever played
Please
too.
activate the new U station now.
Ugh. I can't change the color of that fucking head? Are you shitting me?
Excellent. Now that your DNA is registered, you have the best and horrific.
The customization is limited in this game.
Should an unfortunate fatal incident occur, your new you will appear at the nearest station. Now we can head into the peaceful town of Firestone. Please follow me. Oh no, not again! Are they gone? Whew. Those bandits really have it in for us claptraps. Using us as target practice is not part of
This
our
is actually
program.
the last game that, besides pre-sequel, that shows Claptraps besides him. Because between this and that, they get killed off by Jack. Okay, I already don't like the way this assault rifle fucking handles. Ah shit, my controller batteries are low.
Doozy. You should open this storage device. There may be something inside to help against those bandits.
All right, we got guns over here.
Roland's voice actor is completely different in the first game than it is in the second. And you can really tell. But,
Ow! That looks like it could do some damage. Okay, let's get this gate open. These controls seem to be damaged. Have no fear. I can do it.
there used to be a glitch in this game where whenever he was supposed to mess with this, which you can tell it's still, there's still remnants of it because he's not completely on that. But basically he would sit there and then he would either never leave that thing or he wouldn't touch it. So you couldn't progress past the starting area. It took them a while to patch that. Just because it wasn't common enough.
Oh no! Oh no!
Shoot 'em! All right, boys, take 'em back.
God damn it, Claptrap, you're in the way.
Oh, that hurt.
I don't know why, but the gun controls feel more realistic. Like if I tap fire, it's more accurate, and when I crouch, it's more accurate. I don't remember that being a mainstay in the first one. It might have been.
Blast 'em. Bullseye.
But no, the characters for the new game look very interesting, and I think if I was to pick a favorite, the mech reminds me of Roland, but I don't like the whole mech thing. I don't like the whole mech appeal. It'd be interesting, especially when you're playing with friends, but if you want to play by yourself, I don't know. I feel like Roland is also, and maybe they fixed it, but like there are times where Roland feels a bit broken.
Excellent. I knew you were the right choice, friend.
Yeah, they changed the
Go.
look
I'll
of her,
contact you
but
again
that actor, by the way, showed up at the
soon.
Borderlands conference, and she still looks just like that. Oh yeah, this game now has those keys, because I don't think it originally did.
Attention, citizen of Firestone! There is no cause for alarm. This new visitor has resolved the.
Yeah, opening your inventory pauses the game if you're in single player. I don't remember if it did that in the second game. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've played certain games, so.
Problem.
Well, shoot, I thought I was a goner that time. Damn bandits won't.
Oh yeah,
leave
and the
us alone.
map
Had to
wasn't
lock the
in
place up
this
tight.
game, so.
I'll let you in.
Well, on the HUD, like it is.
Damn it! Blasted circuits are on the fritz again. Give it a go from the switch out there, would you?
Now that you've selected a mission, you will notice that a new icon has appeared on your heads-up display. That's a waypoint. The waypoint will tell you where you need to go, depending on what mission is currently active in
I
your
love and
mission
hate you.
log.
I gotta say the player models for the main characters have a lot more attention to detail, and like shading is a lot better in this game, I believe. But like, just with this guy, you can see like the flannel pixels, the textures of his pants. And like, there's even an attention to detail in like stubble of facial hair and the shading lines. And there's lighting even for dead bodies, which was not the case, and they look like plastic dolls in the first game. The first game looked fucking terrible, but it was old. It was like early 2000s, I believe, which is why I still remember playing it in my childhood.
Now that we're done with all that, please follow me and I'll open the gate for you.
By the way, this area actually makes a return in Borderlands 2, I believe, but I think the area is either optional. No, it might not be optional. But it's like, it's the exact area, but it like cuts off leaving that way and shit.
Oh my god, I'm leaking!
Oh shit, my controller actually croaked. It gave me the signal that, hey, your controller batteries are low, and then they just fucking died. One sec. Putting these ones back on the charger. I used the Energizer chargeable and the Rayvik chargeables.
Looks like he got under Nine Toes' skin. Don't worry, he'll get what's coming to him.
You did it! I knew you were the right choice. Oh, the poor little robot needs our help. Would you kindly give him a hand?
She doesn't move or show emotion though. There was like facial capturing and stuff for the first one, where she like moved and show emotion. They went for a more digitized deal, which is truthful to her. Come to find out in the second game, but she doesn't
That little robot is
move or
good.
show anything.
He isn't going to
I guess it
last very
focuses
long
on her
without a patient.
eyes and shit
Why
now.
don't you look around for something to fix him up?
I can see the code.
I can see the code. By the way, the Claptrap saving mini missions have been a mainstay in the first game.
He seems to be okay.
Like, you'll get secrets and
Now is the time
upgrades.
to get moving and play your part in the journey to come.
Come on, let's get down. Come on, everybody. Check me out. I'm dancing. I'm dancing. Thank you. And be sure to say hello to all the friendly claptraps that await you. I'll continue my fascinating research on the wondrous properties of sand.
Wondrous properties of sand.
Target hit.
Well, that ought to do it. I'll see
I
you
just gotta stay away from over there, because those enemies are like very higher level and they will aggro the fuck out of me. This one really puts a big emphasis on the starting missions, whereas, but it doesn't make them feel mandatory, but they are.
What is it?
Whereas the second game gives you mandatory starting missions to progress, to kind of change the feel of that.
You got what you need. Here's Graham.
And like interesting lines when you talk to people and stuff like that, and like really cool scenes with characters weren't so common in this game. Let's just say they really fleshed everything out in the second game. the first game was very limited, and their start, and they were trying to figure out where they were going from there. So like, the environments are kind of bland. The gun stuff and the leveling, they're interesting. And the bosses and some of the lines in the game that the bosses say are still funny and ridiculous. But like, Marcus for Marcus Munitions, and Dr. Zed, and a few others don't really get fleshed out. Tannis doesn't get fleshed out. It's like they get anything they say is always over the intercom. It's kind of like the Handsome Jack deal, where they're like funny and interesting tidbits. But like in Borderlands 2, when you went to meet them, they had all interesting cutscenes, and like they said stuff throughout the game, and they always had like side quests to come back to. Once you finish an area, you're pretty much fucking done there. You can come back to visit once or twice, but other than that, that's basically it. This is a very straightforward, and this is what shaped the foundation.
I
Is
might
basically.
not have a med school degree, but when you get shot, you'll be happy I'm here. Well, thanks for covered, kid. You ought to use the machine to sell some things you call me. Then my first everyone else to use on the field. You know.
People don't yet trust you. If you're going to ever find the vault, you'll need the aid of the people. Helping Dr. Zed with his Nine-Toes problem is a good move.
I think after I do all of Dr. Zed's missions, then I can talk to TK Baha, who is alive in this game. And he's a very interesting character. I just gotta stay away from there because there's some high levels near that area. Enemy types lack variety in this game, but there are some unique games, there are some unique enemies just for this game. So like, if you came into Borderlands, Borderlands 2, and you played the pre-sequel, and maybe revisited the first game, and you're like, oh, I don't like this because it's dated, I think playing this version might actually help you out a little bit, and be like, okay. It's been optimized, is basically what I'm saying. But this one didn't. Borderlands 1 just was trying to figure out where it was going, which is why when Borderlands 2, when they figured out where they were going, they mastered the weapon looting system and stuff like that. They mastered like the personality and the humor, which they had been developing in this, but like they really laid it on. Is what I'm trying to get at. And man, I am still kind of choky today. It became a staple that really, with the attention to it and really making it come across as funny, entertaining, and giving it like its own personality that's really fleshed out in the second. I think from there on, they could, as long as they kept that up, they could do no wrong. The first one, as the first in many games, is they're trying to figure shit out. The second of every game in almost every game series is always the best one, and then the third one is controversial because they either try something new.
Like off-worlders. How you liking our planet, anyways? And don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. I'll get by just fine. All right? I'm okay.
The Skag blinded him and took his leg and killed his wife. But he's still like relaxed and funny. I honestly feel bad that he gets killed. And you wouldn't actually notice that because that's a thing that you can miss in this game. Like when you come back, you can come back to areas and sometimes more quests will pop around, but most of the time they don't. And one of the things coming back to this area does is you just find him dead. And what I'm doing right now is I'm basically just killing enemies to grind up my level, because once I get to level 5, I'll be pretty decent to take on that first area. But like this game 2 mostly has it to where like everything's tailored to your current level in certain regions and stuff like that, and there's not a whole lot of times where you just run across an overly powerful enemy by accident. There are areas, but they're set up so that you can be slightly aware of that. If this game was not. This game hadn't figured that out yet. So, since it was trying to establish itself as a looter shooter and kind of RPG, there are just random places, like that area I was telling you about over there. Not this one. This one's fine. Where enemies just have humongous jumps in level and difficulty, and there's almost always one in every area. But it gets better as you get later in the game, but still. And weapon drops aren't as common in this game. They didn't get to the massive amount of weapon drops and weapon variety till the second game. But they did have an interesting weapon system, whereas there were like the Alien Forerunner type weapons. So they're like super futuristic, have like unlimited ammo and like really cool abilities and elemental statuses. Those are broken, but not to an extent where it's like you're guaranteed a victory. They're just interesting and cool. And they're way more powerful than basic guns. And they don't ever bring those back in any of the later games. They might bring them back in 3, but to this day, they still haven't brought back those weapon types, which, as I play this game and get further in, you're going to see those pop up every now and then. They're rare. They're very rare. And a lot of them don't drop till either late game. See, like I said, I'm level 3. Once you get into this area, which if you just took a right to explore, you'd be fucked. Enemies just jump up the wall. And that's stupid. Because it's also a starting area, and that's a bit unforgiving. But this game's a bit slower, I'm going to have to admit, than Borderlands 2. It lacks some of the personality that had been fleshed out and humor. Like, the humor's still there, it's the same type, it's just not used as well. Or as much. A lot of this humor from this game comes from like boss descriptions. I'm honestly gonna say it. Like there might be a few lines bosses say that are funny, but it's rare. Most of the humor comes from like literally the underlying fact or secret about a boss, and it's not like something that helps you in the fight. It's something stupid like 3 toes, and then like, which is the first boss of this game, and it's like also he has like 3 balls or something. I don't know if that's still going to be in here, but I remember that distinctively. Like, stuff like that was funny to me, but the humor's more crude and sloppy in this. But I mean, it's like that for every first game of the series. Like Spider-Man 1, decently okay, kind of linear, web swinging okay. Spider-Man 2, still to this day considered a treasure and beloved. Spider-Man 3, fucking awful. But ironically, very few things transfer from this game to the second. Like very few storyline arcs, like from side quests and shit. There are a few, like Scooter killing someone for screwing his mom, Moxie. Moxie makes her debut in this game, but in a DLC that's arena based. And then that actually plays like a story role in the fact that, like, I guess Mordecai and her ended up dating after that. Oh yeah, I think I have to get a mission for that. Just got a bunch of pistols and snipers. I want to get a new machine gun because that first weapon fucking sucks. Yeah, I don't think challenges existed in the first game. They might have. But basically what happens is you just enter the arena and then you would fight your friends in here. So, yeah, it's a bit archaic compared to what they had currently set up. But, I mean, hey, everything's got to start from some point. Which, I mean, it's better than... This game I still consider better to a lot of, like, current games. Like, I don't know if you've heard a lot of the shit about Anthem and its development cycle, but... That's Anthem basically now is a meme of how not to handle your game and make a game. And apparently, like, the way they handle development and the treatment of their employees, and like apparently at the workforce they couldn't compare the game to Destiny because it would piss people off. So they didn't learn anything. They didn't even get to test their own games, which, I mean, for fuck's sake, I kind of like Anthem. Because and most of the reason for that, and I couldn't figure out or put a finger on it, was the reason I think I like Anthem is the dude from Dragon Age Inquisition, because it went through a shitty development cycle too, Dragon Age Inquisition, but it's an amazing fucking game. He, like, what he did with them is within a year he rushed them all, made sure they got their shit out on time, and most of the time that doesn't work, but he got it to work. Now he wasn't able to do that with Anthem, but the fact that he was able to get it to the state it was, that that in itself is a miracle, because apparently the trailer that everyone saw for like the first sign of Anthem, the developers didn't even know what kind of game they were making. They had assets but had no idea, and that was like not actually what they had at the time. It was faked. Now I can go see TK. I don't know how much longer till Marcus calls me, but Marcus will open this place, and this is his Marcus Munitions. In this game, they've got stores and stuff, but in this game it gives off the feel that like Marcus is either not doing super great or just starting off. And I think with the push for Vault Hunters, and then after the first opening of the first Vault on Pandora, it really puts like a splurge of people coming in to fight bandits and stuff like that, which I think is why he actually has a shop in the second game, because in this game he's like, let me open my shop for you. He's like, because it normally wouldn't be open or some shit like that. It's gonna have these guys, and there's gonna be some fucking high level midget, and then there's his name's like there's a weird name for the dude in there, but like the difficulty jumps. These guys, I guess they fixed them, but they used to be high. But if I go any further, it's gonna skip from this 3 to 9 the moment I get over that way or inside that base. So I ain't gonna fuck with that. I'm gonna do these missions so I can get, basically once you get off to level 10 you're pretty set, and then like difficulty spikes don't really, as long as you do your quests and kill enemies, you're pretty good.
Off-world. One more step and it'll be your last. You should have seen the look on your face. Don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. I'll get by just fine. All right? I'm okay.
I did hear it. Damn skags getting into my food. Damn them all to hell. You, whoever you are, I want you to kill those rat bastards. They just stole half my food stores. Go get my food back, then we'll talk after I ain't so pissed off.
Hey now, if you ever need anything at all.
Oh yeah, and if you go out of the zone, you'll either die from fall damage or these fucking cannons will just shoot you. I've already killed all the fucking skags. Although I think doing this mission spawns a badass skag up here. No? Guess we're good. Coolio. Yeah, the first time I ever played this game with my brother, we walked up there and then... So, like, enemies were, I think, a little off-balanced when they were randomized and stuff in this. So, like, the frequency of badass enemies is... In certain areas, I think is set, but in certain areas it's just complete freedom and random. Which is what gives, like, the loot drops and stuff more of a personality, because badasses are more inclined to drop shit. Scab corks hitting the ground like music to my ears. Brought my food back, did you? Thank you, stranger. So you're looking for Nine Toes Hideout. It's over in Skag Gully. Seeing as you helped me with my Skag problem, I'm happy to help you with your Nine Toes problem. Now I can go buy grenades. He's gonna open his store.
Franchise thanks to you. Head into town and buy some new gear.
What the fuck? Thank you, mini-map. I would have been fucked.
Nailed it.
Oh! Yeah. First thing I'm gonna do when I get to that fucking store after buying a grenade is buying a new fucking machine gun. Also, I'm pretty sure that I think it's still in this game. You have weapon proficiencies, which instead of badass tokens, it's just like, I think you get little extra perks every time you upgrade your weapon proficiency. But Iridian weapons aren't like the Iridium weapons in, because Iridium is the mineral and Iridian are the race, and Iridian weapons are basically like that special alien thin race's technology. So it's actually kind of neat, because they're like futuristic-y, but also it's hard to describe. If you're wondering why I'm not really talking to my dog while I'm playing this stream and being affectionate with her, I woke up this morning to put on my pants to go to class, and when I put one foot through my pant leg, I went to put the next one through, and it went through way earlier and about halfway down. I went, what the fuck? And she had eaten a pair of my jeans. Donate blood. Kill Skags reward. Copper transportation.
Want to make a bigger boom? Buy a better mod.
Is it?
I've got all kinds.
That one's too much.
Buy an Atlas, and you too can see what it feels like to hold the power of the gods in your hands.
I don't remember the ×2 in this game. I think they've added more guns. I don't want to spend my money on that. Also, don't even think I have enough. I don't like shotguns. Can't afford it. Okay, one sec. I'm gonna sell.
Was just not cool enough for you? Get a Maliwan and light some people on fire. Wanna shoot a lot of bullets really fast? Vladov has your needs. Never be too rich, too good looking, or too well armed.
Oh, I have to. One sec. Purchasing grenades allows me to find the actual grenades in the world for some reason, which is why I haven't been able to find or use any of them as of late. Much better. Now I've earned my first skill point. But as you can tell, it's been 47 minutes and I haven't really stepped more than like 40 feet away from the first town. This game is not even close to the scale of Borderlands 2. The DLCs add a lot. Like, I think this is the first one with a zombie DLC. If that's correct. Yeah, this one's the first one with the zombie DLC. The zombie DLC is its own area, which is unique and nice, and it's not as short as the 1 and 2. And then, did I get money? No, I didn't get money. Ooh, I can see like his fibers and stuff. That's actually kind of nice. I know that compared to modern games, this shit's still kind of crappy, but like the attention to detail that they've paid and like gone back to fix and detail stuff up and rework assets is really nice. No, this Borderlands is a lot slower in pace and a few other things. It's the foundation, but I still love it to this day because it's the start, and like I have so many childhood memories of playing this game co-op with my brother and with friends. Son of a bitch. I still don't have enough money. I'm gonna have to kill shit to get more money. And then once I finish this quest line, I should be good to go. I mean, I think it's like maybe depending on how many of the side missions and stuff you do in Borderlands 2. None of them dropped any cash, which is concerning. The first area I think could take up between, but the first area is fucking massive. Like, you have to fight your first boss almost right off the bat, which in this, it takes you a while to get to your actual true first boss. You start off with an introduction to Claptrap and stuff, much like this. And I really think it's symbolic, is like him passing the torch on to you as the new Vault Hunters. a mission to press that, which is stupid. And then in just the first area, there's 3 bosses, because you got to move from that first area to actually get to the true first town. There's 3 bosses. Technically 4 if you go against the Bullymong and Midget fusion type guy. They're not actually fused, they're just they're basically just one's right in the other. It's a symbiotic relationship, I think is what they call it. Really? I can't crit? Powerful, but accuracy could do better. Mostly because there's not really a whole lot to aim down. It's a bit of guesstimation. And if I'm standing straight up, I guess my bullets kind of sway. Especially when I'm moving. I just need a little bit more money. I gotta get $90-something. It should be enough. Probably shouldn't have spent my money on 2 weapons before buying my starting grenade, but I really couldn't help it. Just having such a bad time with that first assault rifle, it was terrible.
You can always trust the gun at your side.
Yeah, the first area and the first boss are long and drawn out. There's also not as many bosses in this game as there are in Borderlands 2.
Target hit.
And if you're within a short level gap in Borderlands 2, I think it's a bit more forgiving than it is in this. Because in this, even a small level gap, especially in the beginning, can fuck you royally. I think the biggest sign of that is the final boss. Just because there's not a lot of area for cover, and it does like sweeping attacks.
Hey,
And it shoots
why
a
don't you come
fucking
over here
laser
and
at
chat
you.
a while? It's always nice for a fella to have company out here.
Now I can finally go kill Nine Toes.
If you ever need anything at all.
The bosses in this are pretty straightforward too. Like, they're nonsensical in their supposed backgrounds, and sometimes what they say to you over the comms, which even then is rare. It's not as much as, or even close to, as Borderlands 2. And a lot of their designs are pretty bland. Yeah, to push this. Yeah, that's right.
Woo! I heard that blast all the way over here. Bam! Time to give Nine Toes a piece of that. Woo! I'm updating your ecosystem with his location. Come and see me once you put his bits to the grinder.
I think loading times, well, I think they were supposed to be improved, but looking at, oh, okay, there it goes. And they're about the same.
Who needs a real doctor when you got my machines and their scary needles?
Jesus.
Whether you are killing bad guys or exploring the unknown, you need a trusty gun by your side.
Oh yeah, you can just buy upgrades. Well, shit. I if I go that way, they're higher leveled, so I'm going to clear out everything to the right and head to my mission. Then I'll come clear that stuff out. I'll have to come back here for a side quest to kill the skag that fucked up TK Baja and his wife. And the snap-on's pretty bad in this game. Like, it's good, but the aim assist I'm not a fan of. Because it is maybe too much. Oh fuck! That actually scared me. Our characters are also like much younger in this than they are in 2. I think the distance between this game and 2 is or in the pre-sequel is a few years. But I think between a pre-sequel and I'd say maybe 2 to 3 years for this and the pre-sequel, something like that. It could just be a year to 2. Ladyfinger. But I think Borderlands 2, there's gotta be maybe up to 5 years of a difference. Because pre-sequel takes place after they open the vault. And Lilith and Roland go on a vacation. But they also have, at that time, already dealt with Moxie's arena and stuff. And
Nailed it.
I think Rick at that point was trying to become the bandit leader, and Mordecai was trying to date. I think that's before she broke up with Mordecai. So Moxie, I think, was Mordecai at the time, but he was just kind of doing his own thing, I think, on Pandora, which is why they're not in the pre-sequel. It was also handled by a different development team, which is why some people don't really like pre-sequel, because it was done by the 2K Australia, I think, instead of regular 2K in Gearbox. No, Gearbox Australia. I think the first one was actually made by 2K and Gearbox, if that's correct. It's 2K and Gearbox. But Gearbox is the main player in all this. And yeah, no, they go to establish a refuge in like New Haven or some shit like that. Bloated rags, good loot. And now they're gonna start flying at me. Oh shit, there's more of them. Oh yeah, they spawn out of like weird pustules and things, but I don't see where they spawn from. Bloated racks almost always have weapons. The problem with racks is weapon drops can be lost because they can fly over the edge of like the game and shit. Which is why most of the time you'll just go for the bloated rack whenever it comes in. Guess they came out of the cliff caves. Yeah, but this game, you can tell right off the bat, much slower pace. Much slower pace. But, I mean, it's also not fair to judge this game based on Borderlands 2, because that came out after. But it is also very hard to hop back into previous games and entries after you play the other one, which almost always makes improvements. But sometimes, very rarely, is the first one better than the follow-up. But sometimes it does the opposite. Shows you shows you where they went wrong instead of where they went right. Jesus. That's a lot of skags. Oh yeah. Let's see. What skill trees have we got? We've got the healing skill tree, which heals allies and heals myself. Or no, it just increases my health. But it heals allies, but that also works for me in the end. Shooting team members heals them. I always loved that ability, so that I had an excuse to shoot my brother. When you were kids, you know, the shit you would pull. Scorpio turret instantly revives nearby cripple friends when deployed. So it's kind of like Medic in Apex, where she's got that little shield that protects. Basically, the best abilities I think in this were the healing from one skill tree, and then you could get it burst fire, improve on cooldown, but like main abilities is basically what I'm saying. It does give you ammo. That one's most of the time you're gonna invest in like the starting skills for this tree, but really go down this one because you're gonna want missiles. You're gonna want burst fire. I think does my Scorpio already have a shield? Is that how it starts out with? I thought shield was an ability, but you might actually just start out with a shield. I do need to pick a skill. I just want the burst fire like off the bat, and then I'm gonna focus on like the healing and the missiles. There's not a... What the fuck? Oh yeah, I forget. In Borderlands 2, you could just find these and immediately activate the quest. In this, you actually have to, like, receive the quest from somebody before you can actually pick up collectibles and stuff like that. Which is really dumb. But, you know. Like, I don't think that was a decision that needed to be learned from, but I think they did. Beautiful. But yeah, Borderlands 1, a bit more relaxed in the beginning, slower paced. And once you get to a certain point, and especially when you play with friends, I really think the action picks up, but I also don't think it picks up till later.
I hope you've toughened up enough.
And that's basically her way of saying, hey, check your level, bitch. That's a grenade mod. I do need a grenade mod. But I also don't have money. That's 13, that's 14.
Only buy the best. If the vault is real, you'll be able to afford it.
That's 25. That's a definite, that's a no. I guess I gotta get more money.
There's too many! You never should have come here, now you're gonna pay!
Let's see if this is better than the one I had. Also, optional bosses are not a big thing in this game either. So, and if you're wondering why I'm going so much into detail, it's because I'm starting this stream off, but I'm also letting you know that, like, if you're a big fan of the later series, also he has 3 balls, Nine Toes. Nine Toes also he has 3 balls again.
bites the dust. Elite my ass.
Like I said, especially with this first boss, he does a lot of damage, but the variety of his attacks, anything interesting, it's just not really there. That's new. I think they increased the rate at which good guns drop in this game. I don't... Also, either they reworked the way guns look or they've added completely new guns to this game. I know they've reworked the visuals and some of the loot system and like the way cosmetics handle, and they've added golden keys. And patched and fixed and done all this shit and really put effort into making it the best experience you could have. There's already a Borderlands Game of the Year edition, but this is a completely different game to that. This is a Borderlands Game of the Year edition 2019 for Xbox One. There's a lot of evolution. Because when they did Game of the Year edition, they made all the improvements they could at the time. But now with access to like advanced graphics and stuff like that, there's just so many more improvements they can make, etc., that it's almost just a completely different game. I'm not gonna worry about like recharging ammo in certain aspects of the game until I get into later areas, because as long as I make my shots count, I won't really have to worry about ammo.
That was the first step on your journey. You must look.
Oops, sorry, cut you off. That's a 25. The magazine size is bigger for this, and the damage is almost the same, and it's an SMG. Clearly superior to
Who
that.
I am is not important. The first thing you must know, the vault is real. People will mislead you. They will try to use you and not be swayed in your purpose. The vault, it is here, and you will find it.
Oh, sweet. It's already auto-equipped.
This world is full of dangers. Steel yourself and go. I'll be watching.
Damn it. I could have bought a blue. Zoom in scope, which is nice. You're not really gonna use your SMG for distance. I would have preferred iron sights. I have so many fucking bullets, I don't even really need to aim down sight. As long as I burst it, they're fairly accurate. One thing I do like about this game, it does tell you when shops have new inventory, which, as it did on the top of my screen. I'm pretty sure the base one did that too, so... Like, the base version of this game did that, so... Alright, now I'm gonna slip into some harder, difficult enemies. Basically, I'm gonna go back to the town, and I think it's gonna give me a mission to kill the enemies in that stronghold I told you were way too high leveled for me at the time. Much like these enemies, but now that I've finished that area, I can take this area out. And I'm basically just trying to grind up, but I'm grinding up efficiently.
Target hit.
Got him. The aiming and shooting's a little dated, even with the patch-ups and stuff in this game, which is one of the reasons why I think the Skags have like longer openings for like whenever they open their mouths and shit for their criticals. Fuck.
Oh! Did you know that by aiming your crosshairs at an enemy, your HUD can display your target's level, health, and shield streak? The higher level an enemy, the more dangerous they will be. If you see a skull, you'd better get out of there fast.
And he's basically warning me because this is a higher level area. Also, this area has a tendency... See, like, I just went from 7 to 8. The area also has a tendency to drop badass Skags at a higher frequency, especially right here. I remember this area quite well. Well, there's an adult at least. But yeah, no, just that one level difference. That's a lot of damage. Surprisingly, no badass skag. But there's still a higher chance of it to show up later on. In the basically this area, there are a lot of like little hidden away tidbits, sections, and stuff. Not so much hidden away, but they're higher leveled, so sometimes people forget to come back and check them out. But I grinded enough in the first area and did enough in the missions that I'm decently capable of taking out enemies, but I need to also like be smart about how I do it, because your movement speed in this game is a lot slower. Enemies are a bit more punishing, but lack attack variety and flair. It is what it is. Probably will regret that. Oh, fuck. I don't have grenades. There's a lot of them. Fuck! There's a lot of them. Out of ammo. Not good. Close call. I really need to upgrade my storage capacities here soon. I know I have to come here to collect these. No, they're collectible. I also need to get up there. Fuck. There's like a lot of base enemies that you'll see, and that aren't very much different from the ones you'll see in Borderlands 2, but Borderlands 2 has more, and has different varieties of specific enemies. Like, they might have similar enemies, but like, there's a lot of different names for them. They have different attack patterns or stuff like that. And once you get past monsters, it's basically they'll shoot at you. It's basically the gist of it, but that's a badass guy. Really thought I was gonna go down there.
It's nice to get resupplied.
Got a lot of weapons to sell at least. That's a purple. That's a definite keep. 16, 22 is a definite upgrade. That's an upgrade. I hope for any of you watching this in the future, currently I have like 1 or 2 viewers. I have 2 viewers right now. Man, I would appreciate it if they would talk in chat. Damn.
Oh, that hurt.
Oh, fuck. Good thing this pistol is powerful enough to stagger constantly. And, of course. Oh, that's an on-contact grenade. Didn't expect it. I thought I still had stickies. They looked the same. That actually almost fucked me. Yeah, but normally whenever I have people watch my streams, it's after I've done them. Because it's the school year, and I'm not popular enough on Twitch or YouTube for anyone to watch me every day of every second and shit like that. I don't have that big of a following. I'm over 70 followers on Twitch still. It's slowly growing, but I think honestly, like, my best chance when I stream is to stream in the summer or to stream around specific time frames. But I like to stream immediately as I get out of school, but the problem is I'm in college, so half the time that's in the middle of the day, and it's still the school year. And typically when you stream, you're going to get a younger audience because it's a... I mean, video games are still like... Yes, you can have people in their like 40s, 50s, hell, even older generation people playing video games. It's just not as common. So the majority of people you're going to get are kids or people in high school, younger, at least under 20. You'll get some that are over 20, but that's the margin right there, which is why a lot of like YouTubers and Twitch streamers have been trying to go a lot of like kid-friendly, so they can appeal to a younger audience, because that's where they make the most of their money. That's the reason they do it. I never will do that. I swear, I'm not a perfect human being. I'm not gonna gloss coat and preach to you from my high horse so that way I can suck up and stuff like that. No, I think a lot of like the personality behind my streaming is like, hey, this is us, unfiltered. And sometimes we say stuff that's either offensive, stupid, and you may not agree, which you have every right in the world to argue. But we're adults, too, so like, a lot of our conversations between me and my friends and stuff are adult-oriented stuff. We're also intellectuals. A lot of my friends and me, we're in college. We have a goal to finish college. And we each do very well in college. So a lot of our stuff can get like historical, political, social, and each of us like me and Josiah, we're very similar on a lot of our like viewpoints, but I have like some right-sided and old-fashioned views. Not a lot, but certain things bother me in certain regards. I'm never against one thing or the other. And like in politics, I can see both sides of the subject, and I'll ask people about it, and I'll be like, well, why do you think this? And then another person, well, why do you think that? It's just, there's no point in being like, no, my side's right constantly. I don't like that. That doesn't lead to a productive conversation. Because I think sharing opinions should be like a healthy process. And a normal process. Oh, there's my stuff. But no, some of our stuff can get opinionated, and nobody. The thing about freedom of speech in the U.S. and freedom of viewpoints is nobody has the same viewpoint, and we all are allowed to speak our mind, as long as it's not threatening or hurting anyone. We're perfectly fine with those matters. Basically, is what I'm saying. But also, like, yeah, I'm a streamer in the U.S. and I'm a kid. I'm 21, and I'm an adult by law, and technically, physically, and I would say mentally an adult, but I am not in the middle ground of adulthood, which is well established. So, like, I'm still considered by some people as being a kid, stuff like that. And I mean, that's perfectly fine. I can see it. But basically, I'm just telling you, like, that's the age group. That's the stuff. So that's kind of like the mindsets and stuff. Kind of like that. That's just where we're at. And I'm hoping in the summer when I'm streaming, I can build up more of an audience and have a chance to try. It's been slow, but I mean, I don't have like a huge following or background, and I think a lot of time when people have freedom to explore, that's when they discover, like, people, like, I've always been a fan of, like, when I was in high school and stuff, and the starting years of junior high, I was a big fan of, like, Mini Lad, Wildcat, and Vanoss, but like Vanoss's content, like his friends are all moving on to different genres, and I think he's slowly dying off, which sucks because I enjoy his stuff. So he's actually, ironically, back when he was popular, he would fluctuate between two different groups of friends, like the more popular people that he helped to promote to get that way, and then like there were other like less known YouTubers that he would play with too, like Spoon and stuff, which wasn't as common, and I think he kind of slowly getting back to that, because I think Spoon and Ohm, Scotty, also known as 4-0, and Moo. Moo is established now, I'm pretty sure, among that group, but like Scotty kind of fluctuates in and out, and like Nanners doesn't really play with him much anymore. Nanners doesn't really have anything on YouTube anymore, which is a bit sad, because I was a fan of him as well. So like Mini Lad's moving on to like more live stuff, Smitty's moved on to commentaries, Wildcat's moved on to like battle royales, mostly Fortnite, and so is Marcel. So they've kind of changed. Audience-wise, I don't think they've really tried to coat to a certain audience, but I do think that thanks to Wildcat and Marcel switching over to Fortnite, they've kind of copped out a little bit, especially because whenever they were starting off on Fortnite, they hated Ninja. They despised him, and now they play with him. And my thing is if you're a person and you have viewpoints, ideals, and if you're not a big fan of someone, that's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's just stay true to your ideals and your beliefs. Because now they're like best buddies with him, mostly Marcel, but Wildcat's known to play with him every now and then. And it's just that really rubbed me the wrong way when I saw like cop-outs like that. Because like my thing is as a streamer and as a YouTuber, but most of the time it's just my streams exported. And sometimes that messes with quality, and I apologize. I just really don't have the setup or the money right now. And I'll slowly build up to that, and I will evolve. But the way my stuff goes is I'll do commentaries, where I'll play video games and I'll say stuff as I'm going. Sometimes I'll talk about events in my life currently going on, or things, or viewpoints. And then when I'm with my friends, we'll all like just be messing around, having a good time. Or we'll talk about certain things going on currently in the world and stuff like that, and what we think. And we all each have differentiating viewpoints, very differentiating viewpoints at sometimes. And I mean, we're our own human beings. There's nothing wrong with that. But like we're very strong in the sense that like we stick true to our ideals, which is why sometimes my friend group, I'll admit, we can argue sometimes. And I mean, kind of right now we're going through like a bit of a phase where like there's not really a whole lot of stuff that we're feeling up for. And like me and Josiah are wanting to hop into like the Firestorm Battle Royale, but Sean's been more single players, which has caused me to play more single player games, which is why I just went and downed like all of Sekiro. I beat the shit out of that game, but it took me forever. Like I'll admit, like I think I beat that game in under 30 hours, but a good 5 hours was just spent on the final boss. Because I was going back through and checking my streams and the links, and I figured that out real fast. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna just buy these. I'm not gonna worry about buying shields and stuff. no real point in spending a whole lot on like shields and stuff. I need to focus more on my storage deck and stuff so I have more ammo for longer and better fights. But yeah, no, I kind of do like a bit of a mix of commentary, opinionation, and current life events and what I'm thinking. The current situation of gaming society as a whole, like current game culture and what's going on, like the big Anthem debacle and a lot of like stuff which I recently touched upon, like anything relevant to gamers I like to focus on, just because like that being games are part of my culture. Games are like, some people watch TV, some people drink, some people do all that. I play video games. That's how I relax. That's my pastime. And a lot of people nowadays, that's becoming their pastime. And the same with most of my friends. Although sometimes they're more inclined to just stop playing altogether and just focus on what they're currently doing, which is fair, and I can. But I always try to make time for games, which is why back in the day I used to be a really big achievement hunter. Like I would not like Achievement Hunter the channel, but I would just constantly hunt down achievements. I think I've gotten more relaxed on that because I used to 100% like every game I had, but now I'm just like, I'll do as much as I can, and then if I have to go back and do more and I feel inclined to do so, I will, but I also don't feel obligated anymore, because what I did is I made a decision whenever I started streaming that at that point I'd played so many games and my achievement score is fucking ridiculous for only being on Xbox One and starting a new profile for like, I think it's been about 3 years that I've actually had this Xbox One, and I've only been streaming for about a year. It's maybe 4 years that I've had this Xbox One. Just under. Somewhere around 3 or 4. Anyway. But I didn't start streaming till about a year, and I realized that like I'd been playing a lot solo and focusing on achievements, but I kind of missed the whole playing with friends thing. And I also started in a group which was comprised of me, Josiah, Sean, Slade, and Logan. We're no longer affiliated with Logan and Slade just because there was too much negativity and hostility for no logical reason other than being negative to be negative. And me, Sean, and Josiah all decided to split from that. Albeit in that process, Sean hopped back in with him like twice. We tried to patch stuff up, but even when we did, it only got worse. So we just straight up dropped him.
Thanks. There are just some things that are too hard to do without the use of my eyes.
Yeah, and Sean's had to deal with a lot of drama this year and a lot of bad shit. So that I think that's taken a little bit of a toll on him, but he's also grown as a person, which me and Josiah have seen. But like recently he's been playing a lot of single player games, and we've been really wanting to hop into some multiplayer games because our friend group has a tendency where like Josiah will disappear for a few weeks because he gets busy, because he's further into college than me or Sean, so he's on the very late level shit, the more difficult shit. And he also does work quite a bit. I mean, I go to school and I work, but I have an associate's degree and I'm going for a bachelor's, but I have an associate's degree and all my gen ed's done, but I have to get another associate's degree and another bachelor's. So I'll have 2 associate's degree and a bachelor's. I'll have an associate's degree in psychology, an associate's degree in teaching, and a bachelor's, which I will then go for a master's in teaching. So I've gotten most of the beginning and easy shit out of the way, and I actually am already like doing junior classes, junior level. I've explained this in a previous video, but basically you have gen eds, which are basically set at difficulty 1, and then you have your of just those course classes is what I like to call it, of like freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior level difficulty, because like gen eds are just gen ed difficulty, but like when you go into that specific course, that course will have specific difficulties and shit like that.
Sure is lonely around here.
Go see TK Baja. He has more work.
Are you the one killing all the crap when people ask? The Catch a Ride near Firestone is more busted than my mama's girl parts. Real appreciate you taking a poke at that. The system, not my mom. That dog down the skag den, know what I'm saying? Oh, that hurt!
Roland's a lot more sassy and a lot less cold and mature as he is in the second one. But yeah, so anyway, about the friend group, the same can be said about like Josiah's spells being gone and stuff, and then the same can be said for Juicy. Juicy, he's out of school, but he's in the workforce, and he's got a higher up position where he works, so he gets busy a lot. My wife died. I think you're actually my best friend. Well, friend, got another job. Laid flower seeds and kill Scar. Okay. I gotta take a dump. I gotta take a dump. Something awful. Yeah, the humor's a bit more crude. And they just keep coming out of there. Catch a Ride used. How do I fix it? Well, it doesn't look like it's working, which this might be bad because I might not be able to progress past this point. If that's the case, I'll go to another area, and I'll do TK's missions. Level 9, a level 7. How are the blade? Well, if Scar's only a level 7, I'll just do his mission right off the bat. Just say fuck it. I can buy more storage deck upgrades. Hopefully. I'm more, I like playing with shotguns when I play as the Gunzerker, but that's the only character that makes shotguns feel worthwhile to me. Because getting in close is risky and you take too much damage. And in Borderlands, melees are just so unforgiving. Okay, so now I have to find the shop that sells the upgrades past that point.
First aid kit. You won't regret it.
I do believe you actually take fall damage in this game, so no jumping off cliffs for me. Gotta say, I'm really digging the pistols. I think they're very underappreciated in this game series. Fuck you, cunt.
Bullseye!
You dick. I see that big son of a bitch. Jesus Christ, I guess I forgot about that.
Another notch on my whip.
And he fucked that thing up. Oh shit. Do need more health. Yeah, your health actually doesn't regenerate in this game. You have to find healing items. Is it the same in the yeah, I think it's the same in the second. But see, like I said, there's almost always a badass in this fucking section.
All me.
Dick. Oh, you didn't drop anything, asshole. Stay blade dead. Oh shit, where the fuck? Oh.
Nailed it.
Proficiency is now level 2. I think proficiency just means that like your bullets don't sway as much Because if you've noticed how bad it was in the beginning, yeah, it was pretty fucking tragic. But I don't remember if proficiency transfers over to other characters as well.
Getting better all the time.
Yeah, Borderlands didn't actually get super popular till the second game came out. The first game had a little bit of a following. Well, I mean, it didn't do terrible, but it also wasn't as overwhelming as the second game. The second game's where a lot of people were like, oh man, I really love Borderlands, and stuff like that, and it really just gave everything a better sense of care, more interesting personality and flair. It was basically the icing on the cake. The cake was there for Borderlands 1, but needed some icing, and Borderlands 2 really came in and gave it its all. Not to mention, there's so many DLCs with Borderlands 2, you couldn't have gone wrong, and I think one of the reasons the pre-sequel isn't well liked among fans is they made like one fucking DLC for that game. It doesn't make sense to progress and for things not to improve and increase in quantity for a video game series. Like, there's always got to be improvement. So to have less DLCs, that's a step back. Not to mention, it wasn't even long. Like, it was a mini campaign on it, invading Claptrap's mind or whatever, but which in itself was a funny aspect, but I don't even think they gave that enough justice. Let's see. Yeah, pistols and SMGs are at 2, and I think assault rifles are at 1.
Target hit.
Fuck. Hip puppy, hip puppy.
By mistake. Bullseye.
So yeah, I guess that thing already does come with shields. I want to give it missiles, healing, and that extra burst.
Oh, that hurt.
Alright, we have an exclamation mark quest in the area, which means I'm probably gonna finally get to check out those echo logs. Which I think most of them focus on TK? memory serves. It's been a while since I played this game. So that's Sledge. And in all honesty, I think Brick's bandit leader's inspiration and style and the way he looked sitting on his throne and stuff, I think he took him, and I think Gearbox in designing it took a lot of inspiration from Sledge. Sledge was one of the main bosses in this game, and I will go against him eventually. He's like a heavy hitter. I think he's the one who has the Vault Key, if memory serves. And basically, when you get to his place to fight him, at the same time Tannis is really cracking down and closing in on you. And basically, Tannis is the main bad guy of this game, but she doesn't get a boss fight. She gets fucking murdered right in front of the final boss, which... the final boss is technically the Vault. You fight the Vault because there's it was used as a prison to store a giant monster. And like in 2, there's a guardian of the Vault that when you open the Vault, you're able to command it. And then 3 is supposed to focus on multiple Vaults, because at the end of 2 you find out there's a metric fuck ton of Vaults. But a lot of them are tied to use of the key. And I like the aspect of multiple Vaults, because like one of the DLCs for Borderlands 2 is a tournament of fighting for Torque and all them, and you do that on top of a Vault that they find. So like Pandora itself had multiple Vaults, but there's multiple Vaults across different worlds, and like I don't think the multiple worlds thing is given justice until like, or attention until the pre-sequel, and even then it's like, hey, you're on the moon. That's basically it. Which does add for some interesting characters and some like filler and detail for what things are going on and the backgrounds of certain bad guys. Because every person you play as in the pre-sequel is a boss fight. You have Athena's introduced in this game, and all the bosses that are introduced in the second game that have some importance, like Jack's girlfriend, the Western leader that also kills Brick's dog, Wilhelm, and then it's Claptrap, Hammerlock's sister, Jack's double. Jack's double is a boss. Hammerlock's sister is a DLC character. But like all of them, but like, well, and I think Athena's a boss in the General Knox DLC, but you don't end up killing her, I don't believe. I don't know, I never officially beat it. I got like very far into it, but at the time, like, I had already played the Borderlands 1, 2, and the pre-sequel, and when I went back to revisit and finally had Game of the Year edition, I couldn't stream it, and it didn't handle as well as this does now, this version of the game, and I just wasn't feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it now, especially now that the third game's coming out. It would be good to get all the characters' details and stuff, because Athena might have a role to play in the next game. I don't know. Athena's follow-up in the Tales game is kind of what led her to her interrogation in the pre-sequel, which is interesting because like even the Telltale game finds a way to flow in, and it sucks that Telltale Games is dead because it's possible they could have provided us with some more interesting Borderlands games, and now we'll never get a chance to see if that happens. It's like Borderlands was an interesting series to take, and I think they handled it pretty fucking great. That character model right there, that's Sledge.
Oh, you know that hurt.
Yeah, but I'm about to reach my 2-hour mark, and the first area is super small, so I still consider this extra area with the boss part of the first area, but I'm already at level 10, but I'm about 2 hours in, and the momentum for this game I think is a lot slower, especially in the beginning. But it's not, I'm not having a bad time, I'm enjoying it. And I hope for anyone who watches or sees any of this, I hope they enjoy it too. And if people want to see it, I would like, if you go back and watch my videos, send me a whisper through Twitch. Like whispers are basically Twitch's direct message. And like, it's hectic for like big time Twitch members and YouTubers to get messages from their fans, but like, I'm not big enough to not see them in a swathe of a bunch, so that's good. Also, I do care, and I will go in and check. Because the structure for my Twitch is like, hey, this is who I am, these are what games I play. If you have a preference or want me to play something in particular, I'll definitely do it. On request, like, it doesn't matter. As long as I have the game or can eventually get the game, I'll do it. I'm not an endless stream of money either, so eventually I'll get around to it if I don't have it. But if I have access to it, it's definitely something I'll do. And I do have a huge library of games. I have over like 300 something games. And I have access to the Games Pass, which gives me a bunch in that department too. So that's always nice. Or specific genres of games even, and I'll try to find something in that.
What do you need? That'll do for now.
You won't find finer gear anywhere on the planet.
Oh, well now it works? Well, that's good it does. Because if it didn't, I'd be in some trouble. Size doesn't matter. I'm assuming let's get a certain amount of kills with a smaller gun. So I should get a mission to kill... His name's like... I don't want to say it's Boner, but I wouldn't doubt it. Bonehead, I think is his name. He's basically the bandit leader that lives in that little small encampment. It's literally adjacent to the town, which is why they were hopping fences and shit.
Why don't you come over here and chat a while? Always nice for a fellow to have company out here.
Big up and bad.
Hey, thanks. I know it's rough out here, and a lot of people barely have time to help themselves, much less anybody else. Just know that your help means a whole lot. Hey, thanks. I know it's rough out here, and a lot of people barely have time to help themselves, much less anybody else.
That's TK's wave, was it not? No, it's the terrible matador. Ah, now I have the Bonehead mission. He stole the Digistruct module, which is what trapped, I guess, everyone here in Underground Pool. Yeah, basically this dude's a giant fucking dick. And the placement is a little misleading, especially whenever you were first coming into this game. Yeah, he's level 12. I still grinded that many levels, and he...
It's time to paint this body with blood.
Almost died right there. That's stupid and ridiculous. By the way, electricity's more effective in this game than it is in everything else. The stat ailments aren't just tailored to like... Yeah, fire hurts them even when they have shields and stuff like that. I think a whole lot of the like, hey, this works better on this and that. Like, fire does work better on skin, and electricity does, but electricity still does enough damage against regular enemies for it not to be, like, a super concern. Which is why most of the Iridian weapons do electricity damage, and they still do enough damage to just be that useful. I can see that. Which means I'm going to have to come back here, so hopefully I have a deal to grab all those, because if not, I'm going to be a little pissed. Because fighting that guy sucked. Basically, the rise in difficulty was ridiculous right there. And, like, I did all those missions, and I grinded up a level or two. And even then, I was barely a match for him. Like, he almost downed me. I mean... And actually, I think that's the first time I've been down this entire time. No, I've been down twice because I got down by TK's Skag. Okay, I want to check and see if there's any new things there. Yes.
New missions at Firestone Bounty Board.
I forget he announces that. I feel like the blood and gore in this one is much better than it is in later. Like, explosions, I think, still give a lot of gore and stuff, I think, in the second game. But I think bullets give a lot more gore in this game than they do in any other.
Scientific advisor, day 1 on planet Pandora. I have been assigned to this sector by my superiors to find evidence of abandoned alien technology.
This is before she went insane, by the way.
Found by our competitor, the Atlas Company, in the ruins on Prometheus. Technology that many believe made them the superpower.
She's got the same voice actor in the second, but I think her and Marcus and TK and Zed and Claptrap are the only ones that kept their original voice actors.
I've only been here for 3 hours, and I already already believe this planet will be the death of me. Scientists do not chase myths and legends. Day 43 on Pandora. At least I believe it to be the 43rd day I've been here. The moonlight cycles are difficult to get used to. The planet rotation day is over 90 hours long. The people that inhabit this salted dust ball are as ignorant as I've seen in this galaxy. When I attach scientific inquiry to something like the Vault, I'm greeted with silly nursery rhymes and slack-jawed soliloquy about a man who knew a man who knew a man. They drift off into a stupor where I half imagine they're drunk or brain damaged and are unaware of my continued presence. If I believed in hell, I would contemplate how it compared to Pandora. Ironically, such a belief would align me with these Neanderthals.
Yeah, there's a lot of recordings. I think there's 2 missions for Tannis recordings in this game. And you can tell her like slip into madness.
It's a beaut, man. My runners ain't the prettiest gal to dance, but she'll put out the second you ask her. And be sure to hit the boost to know whoever wants to catch a ride with the scooter man.
Yeah, Scooter in this game, he's still got his humor, which I appreciate. I think he'd been a fan favorite ever since his first little debut in this. He will be missed because for hardcore fans of Borderlands, even the hardcore fans didn't play the Telltale game. Well, the Telltale game is canon, and it involves Athena. She's not really a main character, she's more of a side character. Brick and Mordecai, side characters that really show up for a segment or two. Not main characters either. And it focuses on 2 characters. And one worked for Hyperion, and he's experiencing the downfall after Jack's death. And it basically like sums up with like Hyperion crashing to the planet in a climactic deal. And then the other one is a person who was forging a vault key who gets involved in like a big ordeal or some shit like that. And then they find out that they run into each other because he thinks he can take over Hyperion by getting the vault key. And he's basically like a Jack wannabe, and he's like literally a giant nerd for Jack and stuff. And then Jack is apparently alive, not like physically, but like what's his name, the crazy doctor that like copied his conscience and a bunch of other shit like that. Apparently one of the conscience copies makes its way into his head because the doctor's body's in a display in a museum, and he tries to find the password, and he checks the doctor's body to find it. And that's how he ends up with... He basically has to deal with Jack being in his head. So one of the endings is Jack takes over your body, which I don't think they consider as canon. Unless they do, because then that'll lead to some interesting stuff. But I don't think that's the true ending. Because whenever Jack possesses his body, he gets like all golden eyes, I think, or some shit like that. I don't know, it's different. But anyway, they make their way back to Hyperion Station to do a bunch of stuff, and then it ends up crashing to the planet. They get split up. There's a robot that basically functions as the new key to one of the vaults, and it ends up dying. And they're able to put it back together, but there's another robot. There's a loader that basically has like a personality.
Oh, hell, did you just leap over piss
I'm gonna let
off
this go
Scully and one of my runners? Man, dude, tell me when you're gonna do that crap. That was awesome.
I actually had a coworker who reminds me of Scooter at Love's, to the way he talks, to the way he looks, to the family drama, stuff like that. It's quite interesting. But, but no, it culminates in a pretty interesting way. But yeah, when they go up to use a rocket to get to the moon, Scooter is trying to help him fix it. But like, he warns her not to get her hand jammed into the machine while the rocket's going off, because it takes some damage and stuff like that, and his hand gets caught. He makes the mistake he warns her about, and then you try to save him, but he ends up having to jettison that part of the rocket off before it explodes, and he dies screaming "Catch a Ride," and it's actually quite sad. But it's like a way you could see Scooter going out that kind of gives him some justice in the way he went out. Like, his character, not like that was good for him to actually die, because I don't think it was. But I think if he was to go out in any way, I think that's a good way for his character to go out. But apparently he's gonna be dead, and I think his sister's gonna take over the role of the Catch-A-Rides and stuff in the next game.
119. I sat in the shower in tears for just under an hour. This is interesting, considering we haven't had water for days. I equate my ever-decreasing sanity with that of the population of my dig site. With the investigation of the symbols and glowing at the site, we finally unearthed arguably certifiable proof of the existence of alien life having been here on Pandora. But this celebration was lonely, as I only have 2 colleagues left. And I'm not too fond of the fat girl, Chimay. I've been told that scientific discovery requires sacrifice, but I never understood what they meant until now.
You'll find a fella named Shep near the crossroads on the way to the mine. Sled skinned as a tiger and built a tent out of him. Tough luck. But that Shep is a good kid. I'd appreciate you helping him.
So, pistol and submachine gun are at 2 proficiency, and they will only go up, I believe. I'm gonna equip Bone Shredder.
That'll do.
It'll do, pig. That'll do.
For now.
Yeah, sorry I didn't stream yesterday. I know I stream like 3 or 4 times a day, but the reason I didn't stream yesterday was because I was letting a bunch of stuff download. Josiah wasn't going to be on, and I was just so exhausted when I got home. I literally slept for about 12 hours. And I pulled one of those deals. If you know, I quit my job at Love's, and like that's in itself a whole debacle.
This man,
Especially because I was working with a bunch of druggies who thought of themselves as being on like some kind of high horse.
Who has done terrible things to the people of Firestone. Do what you must.
But I basically went in there because they'd been talking shit on me. And normally most people don't let that bother them, but like when you work in a certain job and your boss starts drama and starts talking shit and causing issues at the workplace, that's a lack of professionalism, and it's not appreciated. And basically my boss was a fucking junkie who couldn't get her shit straight, and whenever she'd do the schedule she'd get high as a fucking kite and mess it up. So she would blame it on other people, and then she just decided one day she hated me, told everyone she didn't know why, but she just did. I'd never done anything wrong at work, never done anything else. I was among like the top 3 there who had the most experience. And the only reason was for that is some of them had never moved on with their lives or tried to get better jobs, so that was all they knew. So that was the only reason. And I was among many who were working there part-time. I'd worked at one full time and then switched to part time when I went to that one. Yeah, running people over just insta kills them. And I don't think in this game you actually get punished for running them over, XP wise.
Ha-ha, that's another one.
Why is a psycho have shields? So many questions.
Oh, that hurt.
I can hear the midget. I can't see the midget. Not a short joke. I think he's on the roof.
Nailed it.
Got him. But no, I basically went in because they were talking crap and being unprofessional. And I still have people that work there that I'm friends with. And the boss doesn't know how to be a boss. So like when she has a problem with a coworker, she'll just talk shit instead of addressing the issue. Came in T-pose, by the way. But I haven't done anything to dignify being like kicked out or permanently banned because I have a sense of professionalism and decency among other human beings.
Bullseye.
And she's all kinds of messed up, I think, from drugs and a bunch of other stuff, and she can't really function correctly or figure out how to function as a leader, much less an adult. She has trouble socializing, which that in itself I think stems from a lot of background shit, but you know, and this is a dick move on my part. I'll admit there's a bit of bitterness in me doing this. Is basically I went in to let them know, hey, I got another job and I'm an assistant manager. So if you're gonna talk shit and say I don't have a job and I'm still looking and I'm fucking miserable, realize that now I am more overqualified than most of the people that work in here, besides the manager and assistant manager. So I said I would appreciate it if no one was talking shit or trying to. It was basically like me letting them know, hey, I have a job and I'm doing fine, so you can't talk shit, so you know exactly how I'm doing, and it's not what you're expecting. And I basically went in there, and she was immediately uncomfortable, which is funny, because she had no problem addressing people and being rude to people while she was there, but she would also say shit behind their back, and then sometimes she would just mutter stuff in front of you. Lack of professionalism, like I said. So when I came in and I got a sandwich, she ran into the back and didn't leave the back till I left. And it was fucking hilarious.
Was that of joy. I felt joy because his chair was always more comfortable than mine. I took his chair, and then I noticed the emissive glow on the rocks at the dig site.
I thought I dropped a weapon. Did I not drop enough? But no, it was a bit of a... I've worked multiple jobs. I worked as a veterinary assistant and assisted with surgeries without any medical training. Which, one, that shouldn't have been allowed, but two, it shows the patience and the delicacy I can handle in certain workforces. I've also worked for, like, companies, factories, like, heavier stuff, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. And hard labor. And then I worked for Loves for like 9 months, as well as being an RA for 2 years, worked in a library. Like, I have qualifications in leadership and multiple qualifications in, like, work ethic and stuff just because of the places I worked and for how long. And almost every boss I'd ever had would give me, like, a good word of recommendation and stuff like that. But, like, the boss I had, not a good person, nothing good about them in any general sense. despised by her own children, which I can tell you, if you're despised by your kids, there's normally a reason. And she was just an awful person. Well, she started talking crap on me and spreading rumors about my work ethic and stuff. But like, if you've ever watched my streams, I had to stay late to fix mistakes previous shifts had made and all this stuff. And then she just like came in and told everyone that they sucked compared to some like new hire on she had, and that's not right. So when I went in, I was like, hey, I'm an assistant manager now. So now anywhere I work, I can go in and be like, yeah, I have manager training and stuff like that. So I'm immediately qualified to be a manager or an assistant manager. Albeit I'm gonna have to put in a time, not just because I just got the job. I can't just quit and be like. I can't just quit and be like, well, I got hired on as an assistant manager, therefore I have manager credentials. You still have to do the training and the work and stuff like that. But like, I've never really quit a job until I quit Love's. And I transferred from one that was almost just as shitty. But at least that boss would tell you some things to your face. She wouldn't tell you everything. And in herself, she was a druggie too who beat her kids. Which goes to show that maybe Loves should take a look at their managers and who they're training. Because you're supposed to be able to pass background checks and stuff. And if like druggies are getting through your background checks, maybe you should evaluate that. And I'm not saying you, like if you smoke fucking weed, that you shouldn't have a job. I don't consider weed a drug. I don't do it, but I don't consider it a drug. I think the recreational uses have ruined any argument that it's not a drug, though, because of the way people have mishandled it. Oh shit, what the fuck? Which in its way is kind of run by the people who are doing it. I think like the original purposes were that of like the THC oil and stuff like that. Medicinal based purposes were the original based, and like sometimes people do take it to relieve pain or stress, which is fine, but like an overabundance of use and mishandlement and stuff like that, I think have just ruined any chance of anyone to use pot. Although pot is illegal for it being feared as the next runner-up to take over the paper industry. They were going to use marijuana leaves to make paper, which in itself is funny because at the time it wasn't considered a drug, and then they condemned it and made it out to be a drug. Oh shit. I got lucky. This is clearly too high of a place for me to be.
Another walking meat.
But no, it's basically like in the entirety of me working at this Love's. What had happened was there were multiple people that quit. God damn it, I'm in a spot where I can't. Whoa, that was close. Like, I worked at my Love's, there was mishandlement, there was clearly a violation of interest, a conflict of interest, because they had like their kids. She basically has her kid working there. The manager does. Her kid works there, which her kid's not a bad apple, but she's a bad apple. And now her kid's boyfriend works there, which is another conflict of interest.
The fat girl, Shimei.
I don't want to rat him out because it's not like those people are inherently bad, but like.
She didn't die right away and begged me to put her out of her misery as she choked on various fluids and bile. I hesitated because she was the last one alive that wasn't me. As she was choking and coughing and dying, I tried to enjoy the interaction, which I imagined to be a conversation, as I knew it was the last I would have for a while. I finally got around to smothering her so that I could continue my research. I could tell that she regretted the decision. The Skags have been waiting for this meal for a while. They will not go hungry tonight.
She put her out of her misery. Yeah. Also, the chair comment that she made about like taking a coworker's chair because he died. Yeah, that chair makes a cameo in the next game. I need to sell a lot of weapons. I'll be back. I'm gonna turn in this and sell all the weapons I don't need. The way this is handled is like the open world is more tailored to like you having a vehicle and then you getting out on occasion for small areas, and then the walking areas are like sectioned off areas that you have to find the entrances to, which I think they mix it up in Borderlands 2 and have a bit of both in all senses, but they do also have area setups like that in entire areas where you can't use vehicles, which is fine. Yeah, they mix it up enough. That's basically what I'm saying. But like in this, it's like big area and then tiny little encampments and then a bunch of tiny bases that are their own separate little areas without vehicle access and stuff like that. Shep Sanders. Karan's getting on. By the way, he got a new controller with set up to where it can actually use my old mic. It didn't crap out, it just didn't work for that controller. Nobody's respawned yet, which is good. Basically, in this game, the Rack Hives are their own like big enemies. Which one of them does make a cameo in 2, which is a boss fight in the Pirate DLC. Which that character might actually return in the 3rd game, considering the fact that she didn't die at the end of that, which is interesting. Hey, Karan, what's up? Karan? Yeah, I can hear you. It's a lot better. I'm echoing a little bit. Okay, echoes is still bad, but you're coming in clear. bum 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 bum. Oh no, barely at all. That's perfect. Whatever you have it set, there's a little bit of it, but it's tolerable. I don't know if you've ever played the Borderlands series, but I bought they remastered it again, the first one. So I bought it, and I'm just kind of dicking around on it right now. Why? What's up? You want to play something? What game? Halo 5?
Getting better all the time.
Okay. One sec. Oh, wait, what, do you have to go to work or what? I bet Brandy was pissed when I came in yesterday. No, but when I went in and then when I was getting my sandwich, she like said one thing to you and then she ran into the back. I saw her start leaving the back when I left. She had to do your assessment. You had to do your evaluation, I know, but like she didn't. It doesn't take long to do evaluations. I've had a few. One sec, I'm gonna sell this shit. Yeah, give me one sec. Yeah, no, when I pulled into Love's, I had to do a poker review last night. I just kind of passed out. I pulled in as John and Bree were about to head inside, and they talked to me. But Bree told me that her boyfriend broke up with her and ditched her. And I went, wow, that fucking sucks. Kind of feel bad for her. One sec. I'm hopping on to